Hey everybody, welcome back to GWN. I am Noctera, your host. So, I wanted to talk a little bit today about Drop Mitch, also known as Schwimme. And this is an attack strategy that uses, well, of course, beta minions and dropships, but also night witches. And Sajed was good enough to send up 4 really solid replays against otherwise max bases. The only thing that's not max as far as I can tell on him is the walls. And since this is technically an air attack, we really don't care about the walls. The way this plays out, pretty straightforward, and it's kind of got its own run book, if you will, that works very well. You start off by using a few beta minions to take out those kind of, extra junk buildings that are around the outside of just about every base. Then you bring your night witches in from one particular corner. Usually, you're going to come from the corner closest to the builder hall, although you can come from the other direction. It's just a little bit higher risk. Next, you send in your beta minions with a couple of the drop ships to kind of soak up some of those air defenses, especially the air bombs and the roaster. Now, how does this work out in the end? I mean, how strong of an attack is this? Well, at Builder Hall 7, you can use this to great effect. I mean, it's really a good, strong attack. I gotta say, I use this alongside of minion drops constantly when I was at Builder Hall 7. At Builder Hall 8, not quite as strong, but this is what happens with all of the attacks at Builder Hall 8. You see, Builder Hall 8 has increased the defensive capabilities of the game to the point that you need to find certain bases that are susceptible to certain types of attacks. So for example, Drop Mitch. I'm usually not going to use this on a box base or on, say, a bracket base. Now there may be some cases where I will, but usually I'm not going to. And the reason is because the layout of those bases is just not conducive to this attack strategy. Okay? Watch this one. Same basic run book. We're going to take out most of those structures that are around the outside, which, I call them junk buildings because that's what they are. They're just there to maybe disrupt the pathing, slow the troops down so they can be attacked and so forth. Once those buildings are down, especially around the town or the builder hall, you're going to start sending in your night witches from the corner, and they're going to start distracting and taking out some defenses. The real takeout on the defenses, though, that happens when you drop the beta minions. Timing of the drop ships is everything. If you can get your drop ships down just in front of the beta minions, you'll have more beta minions and they'll survive longer. There's a little bit of forgiveness there, especially if you spread your beta minions nicely, but there's not a whole lot. If you want to just completely mess this one up, put your drop ships down too late. You'll see how fast it goes straight in the gutter on you. So like I was saying, with these attacks, you want the right kind of base. A diamond base is definitely a given. That's what this really works the best against. Positioning of the long run into the base. You'll notice these first 2 attacks, we've got this nice long run because the base is in the bottommost corner of the game grid. That's really important because you need to get the swarm of bats to go in and do their thing. And if you don't have that long run, they're going to be taken out very, very quickly. You want to be able to ramp up the attack. And that's why this will actually work high risk if you come from the end opposite of the builder hall itself sometimes. And I've got that in these next replays. What else makes a base weak to this? Well, first of all, there's the long run, like I said. If a base is centralized within the game grid, sometimes not going to work quite as well, especially at Builder Hall 8. Any of the key defenses that are exposed. If your bats can get to, say, the multi-mortar, or maybe even the air bombs in one corner, that will make a difference in the success of the attack. It'll make it much more likely. Likewise, and this is how it will work for a base like this one and the next one, if there is a long run up to the base, and then a long run without key defenses, and without, well, let's just say with things that the bats and the beta minions can take down very quickly and efficiently, that will be able to be this will be able to be used against that kind of base. In this particular case, you can see the buildings on the outside of the inner part of this base. Their storage and collectors, not very strong. You'll notice that Sajed even puts his first dropship down and then holds back on the second one. so that it will have more time without being attacked and stay up longer. And that works. It enables him to get a lot of buildings down and keep that dropship alive well into the hub of this base. The battle machine comes in from the side and basically protects the Night Witches from attack, allowing them to stay alive longer and then to be able to, toss out a whole bunch more bats to do a lot more damage. And don't forget, when the Night Witch goes down, she's also going to, blow up and have a whole bunch of bats come out of her as well. This is how you can use this, the kinds of bases you can use this against. If you have to break into the base, you can do that, and a lot of times that'll work from the top. I think the first one where we did that. I don't remember. One of these replays, he has to break into the base. That's okay, but you have to be careful about how many layers you got to break through. And this is why aprons work so well on diamond bases. If the apron can redirect the Night Witches around the base, that will protect it. And I guess we should talk about some of the things you can do to protect your base. One of course, the apron, like I said. Your multi-mortars positioning more or less central to the base will help with that, or in some way that it can reach out against that long run. The positioning of mega mines, to a lesser degree regular mines, and spring traps and push traps, that's going to disrupt this attack, potentially prevent it. And those things work against witches in general. So for those of you that are fighting with Night Witch attacks down in the lower 3000s, those are the kinds of tactics and techniques you need to use to slow the roll on these Night Witch attacks. But if you can position these in a way that the Night Witches are most likely to path to them directly, because remember, in a base like, for example, this one, they're not going to stop and start pounding on a wall. There's nothing that's going to prevent your pathing from working against those Night Witches. If you can come up with that, then you can effectively stop a lot of these attacks with your base design. The thing that makes them so powerful is if they can take out the bulk of the air targeting defenses early, and there's not a whole lot left over at the end, they're going to be able to take the base down a lot of times for both high percentage, if not a 3-star. Here's an example of where they didn't, and why? Because they weren't able to get all of the air targeting defenses. So there's another look at Drop Mitch. If you got any questions or comments, please do drop them down below. Special thanks to Sajed for bringing a great set of replays when I called out for him. It's exactly what I needed for this video. I'll be back again here over the course of the weekend with some additional videos. Thank you for sticking around to the end of the video, and y'all take care. Keep on clashing. Bye-bye.